going on, everyone? This is City Wrestling Radio, October 17th, 2022. I'm your host, Korey Smith, being joined, as always, by my main roster mate and yours, Mr. Jose Ocegueda.
Hello, Korey Smith. It's a pleasure to be here this week, and I continue to use the NPR vibes.
The NPR vibes continue.
I'll be using these vibes, for the next month or so, or until it becomes tiresome to the crowd and or to us.
Well, at least until November 1st, when we're going to force you to have Mariah Carey, Jingle Jolly, Snow Falling Everywhere vibes.
God, I hate that so much. I mean, if there's one Christmas song I hate, it's that one.
I think everyone wakes up on November 1st to that ring. I think everyone's iPhone is automatically plays it to wake them up, like do 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 do.
Effing Groundhog's Day, right?
Either way, we're not here to talk to remind you that the holiday season it's literally weeks away. Get ready right now. But
it's right in the rearview mirror. Watch out.
And you know, there's a City Wrestling Radio store. Nonetheless, we're not here to talk about all that right now. We're here to talk about some wrestling. First off, WWE Day 1 it's day none. Ariel Helwani is frustrated as hell with Tony Khan, and I took liberties with that. He didn't use the word hell, so everyone calm down. And Lucha Libre action is coming to Disney+.
What did you say?
So we're going to get into all that, but before we do, please take a quick second to click the like and subscribe buttons down below. Leave a comment if you have a minute, and it really does help out the show. And hey, whatever helps us, it helps you get more wrestling news. So help us, help you. This is really for you. So invest in your future is what I'm saying, right?
Word, yes,
so,
100%.
Hey, I always say, you should always think 3 steps ahead. You want to know, I help fund that great professional, these guys with journalistic integrity. Some would say, hey, that guy sounds like he produces an actual news show. You know what? Maybe, but nonetheless, get involved, help out City Wrestling Radio with, it doesn't cost you a thing. So like, share,
just 2 seconds of your time,
and comment if you got a minute or two. Let's get into everything. So like I was saying at the beginning of the show with my really dumb joke, WWE Day 1 has, according to WrestleNomics.com, this is a report by them, they're not a very well-known publication, but they're out there. WWE has pulled the plug on the newest WWE Premium Live event. The report states that the PLE won't be rescheduled, but instead is canceled, as WWE does not have any premium live events scheduled between Survivor Series on November 26th, and Royal Rumble on January 28th, which to me, that seems ridiculous. Like almost, right. Almost 2 months without a show.
Yeah. Like, I was under the impression that there was going to be a show. It's just not going to be called Day 1.
So WWE Day 1 was supposed to take place Sunday, January 1st, 2023 at Atlanta's State Farm Arena. Now, Jose, did the WWE doom this premium live event from the get-go, calling it Day 1, forcing the show to happen on January 1st, despite, whatever day of the week it's on? Because, in my opinion, they could have pushed this at least one more year.
Yeah, you're right. And especially since Day 1 lands on a Sunday this year, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, just go with it, man. To me, it feels like things are still up in the air. I don't think a final decision has been made. It is a con idea.
Yeah.
So Triple H might be, totally trying to erase history, right?
Yeah. Nick Khan idea, you mean?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Nick Khan's still in the company, though.
Yeah, but how much influence does he have, and how much influence does Triple H want?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And, it begs the question, how much Nick Khan, how much control did he allow Vince to have? How much control did he push back? Did he keep Vince under control? But that's a whole discussion for another time.
Right. And I also hear that there's 2 major football games happening in Atlanta that weekend. So it might be another reason why, Triple H might be wanting to push the brakes on this.
Like the Rose Bowl or...
Dude, you're asking the wrong person.
We're not insider football. We're inside the mat, which is another guess wrestling show. Anyways, well, yeah, despite that, like I said, right now, day one is off the books. Like I said, I still think they're going to be putting something on instead of day one. Maybe day 7,
Yeah.
WWE day 7.
You don't have to. You can still call it day one. Just call whatever event. And you take a note out of AEW's notebook. The first Raw of the year, that can be your day one.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, it's because it's the day one of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And I think that would be good to have more shows like that for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, more special shows like like you said, AEW has.
Yeah, PLE quality shows, as one would say.
Yeah. And WWE is kind of stepping up their game in a sense where they're going to be doing everything that AEW does.
Oh yeah, and call it their own. Yeah.
Because like before, let's just think before Vince, or before Triple H, when Vince was in charge. Okay. Vince was putting on this generic show. It was a kind of, I would say, a really bad sketch comedy show that involved wrestling,
Right.
Whereas now it's a really good show. It's a really good wrestling show.
Wrestling is highlighted again.
Exactly. And that's what AEW did for the longest time to differentiate themselves from WWE. Now they're pretty much on the same platform, so
right.
How is AEW going to handle this going forward? You know what I'm saying?
Just come up with some high quality ideas to make yourself different from WWE.
And one thing I don't think they will be doing is, this last Monday night on Monday Night Raw, AJ Styles made it seem like he was joining Judgment Day, along with his former Bullet Club cohort, Mr. Finn Balor himself.
I have a bone to pick with comicbook.com for putting out the spoilers of this hours ahead of me watching. Screw you guys. Do better.
Yeah, well, it was all over the place because
it was.
AJ Styles swerved Judgment Day by saying when he needed family, he wasn't referring to Finn Balor. Out come the former IWGP and WWE Tag Team Champions Anderson and Gallows, the Good Brothers.
And Impact Champions.
And former Impact Tag Team Champions as well, yes. Now, we reported this last week that the Good Brothers were set to return, but I don't think we both really thought it was going to happen so quickly because Carl Anderson is still the current IWGP Never Openweight Champion. Now, Carl is set to defend the Never Openweight Championship against Hikuleo at New Japan's Battle Autumn in the Osaka event on November 5th, and Fightful Select has confirmed that the Good Brothers will continue to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling through Wrestle Kingdom 17th on January 4th, 2023, per a verbal agreement between the Good Brothers and New Japan.
Mm-hmm. This
week, the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, are set to take on Alpha Academy on Monday Night Raw. Jose, I just said this going into this, what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Is WWE gonna, tear down the brick wall? Not even the forbidden door, but they're tearing down the brick wall, it seems. And you're gonna have people working in New Japan, working in WWE simultaneously. At least for right now, you're having the Good Brothers do that. Do you think we're going to see New Japan talent in WWE?
I think this is a case of victims of circumstance, right? I don't think they foresaw that Anderson was going to still be the Never Openweight champion at this time. And isn't this the autumn battle, right?
In Osaka?
Yeah, isn't it at the same time that they go to Saudi Arabia?
I believe so, yes. It's right around the same time.
So, it only makes sense that he gives up the title when everybody's hopping on the plane. We'll drop you off.
Anderson's like, there. I'm not doing that. Did he go there last time? I don't know. I can't remember if he did. But he was.
I can't remember either.
If he got caught on that first plane, those plane rides back. Those long tarmac halts on the. But no, like New Japan in WWE.
Yeah, they're dipping their toes in the water to see, what can be made of. What do you think is the amount of influence WWE and Triple H hold over Tony Khan and AEW? Do you think it's a major influence with New Japan, or is New Japan kind of like, we'll see whoever comes up the best?
So New Japan's influence on Tony Khan, or you said WWE's? I'm sorry.
Yeah, WWE versus AEW. What's their influence?
I mean, I don't really think.
And how does New Japan hold them in regard? You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think that Tony Khan. And it's unfortunate, like, because Tony Khan has been always the person where his eyes are straightforward on his plan. He's always followed through with his plan, and I don't think he's like really paying close attention to WWE right now. I mean, his own company, his 3 of his EVPs are in the midst of maybe being ousted from this company, along with their former world champion, who they signed all a year ago.
Yeah, totally. But you know what? I think it's more of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge until they fire the former champion. But you know what? A fallback plan I think Tony Khan has up his sleeve is he's becoming really good friends with Jon Moxley.
Well, you're right. Jon Moxley is kind of taking the flag, the AEW flag, and running with it. He is becoming the man there,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that position, it was Kenny Omega, and it was Moxley, and I think at one point it was
Cody, yeah.
And I think at one point it was threatened by Punk. I think Punk was set to be the next guy there and the guy in professional wrestling. But Jon Moxley has really just taken and ran with it. I don't know, man. I can see some sort of working agreement between New Japan and WWE going forward. Just some sort of talent exchange. Not, Alpha Academy's coming over to Wrestle Kingdom and,
title versus title.
Nothing like that. But I do see something like you might see some young lions come over and they're going to get squashed by Braun. You're going to see them
Shinsuke shooting over to Japan for a month stint.
Exactly. And exactly. Other people going to Japan for maybe a month, maybe a couple weeks,
AJJ White go at it. Yeah,
exactly. So I think this can be super beneficial because, like, quite honestly, I am ecstatic that WWE is kind of putting their foot forward and making their company better.
Yeah, totally, 100%. But we could be reading too much into this particular case.
No, you're right. We can be, and maybe I'm just fantasizing the future.
We'll know more after November 5th, right? When we see what Carl Anderson does. If he keeps the title, there is going to be a working relationship. If he doesn't, things are up in the air.
That being said, we still have not seen the IW. He did not come out with the IWGP Openweight title.
He did not.
Although New Japan they keep those titles close to them.
Was it mentioned on TV? I don't think it was.
I don't know. I can't remember. Anyways, let's move on before we sound dumb. Rhea Ripley has been out of action since June 6, 2022, after winning.
Brain and dental.
Yeah. No, you're good. After a fatal 4-way, she injured herself, being pulled from Money in the Bank due to, like you said, a brain/dental injuries. But this week, Ripley has returned to action. I said that very weird, but she's returned to action at a WWE house show in Sioux City, Iowa, teaming with her Judgment Day partner, Damian Priest, against Dolph Ziggler and Nikki Ash.
Am I missing something? Is that a thing?
Which is a very who do we got tonight type of team.
Yeah.
Where do you see Ripley I feel like WWE, like I said, I think WWE is doing great things right now. I think they're really putting their first foot forward and just kind of owning what they do. But the rosters are starting to get a little bit blue. You're starting to see the same conversations we had when AEW was signing everybody,
Yeah.
Where do you see Rhea Ripley fitting in this roster that's beginning to bloat?
She'll be an active valet, aka China.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the DX. Not really involved in the women's division, not quite yet. She'll slowly creep into it, but she's definitely a part of a group right now. She's an active member of the stable. She's always active somewhat active in the ring, week to week. So I just expect that to continue. Maybe throw in another lady on the other side of whoever these guys are going up against. That's what
Yeah,
I say so far.
that's the thing about the Judgment Days. They've been kind of all over the place. One week they're battling with AJ and the Good Brothers. Next week they're battling with Rey Mysterio and Edge, and Beth
Right,
Phoenix.
right.
So right now, I mean, I don't know where she's going to fit. I think she would make a great women's champion going forward, but they have to decide what they're doing with people like Liv Morgan, people like Alexa Bliss with Bray Wyatt being back,
Yeah.
because if anything, last week at Extreme Rules, that Wyatt return with the two titles behind Sister Abby in the crowd, which apparently was planned.
Yeah, felt like it.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like the Triple H came out and was like, "Hey, yeah, we planned it." Sorry, that was Scott Hall doing a Triple H impersonation. It didn't work out. It was Scott Hall coming through me.
Good enough.
But it remains to be seen. I think Ripley would do great. I mean, maybe even, I hate to say it, back on NXT. You know what I mean? She was a great women's champion there. I could see her stand out on that roster, but I don't see her standing out here in this women's roster. Especially like on SmackDown, they're bringing in like Roxy in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
TBD, I guess.
we'll see.
But yeah, I like her. I like her where she's at now. I like that whole if Dum Dum wants mommy, he gets mommy. If Dum Dum,
It's a little creepy. It's like not sexual, but it's
not.
It's like this weird like kink, like super kink sexual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super Dom
Like
sub
it's not
relationship they got going, right?
Yeah, it's not like this like I've seen couples, be like, "Hey mommy, hey poppy," like they just say that like maybe when they're being intimate with one another. You know what I mean? Or just being, canoodling watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But they're walking around like Dominic gets what mommy gives him. Yes, mommy. I want that milk, please. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck is going on here?
They're like one moral half step away from him walking in with a leash around his neck.
I would actually kind of like that. Go for it. I think they should go for it. At least that would be less creepy than the mommy. That would be less creepy than him calling her mommy and her referring to herself as mommy.
Or if he calls her poppy at one of the.
I would actually prefer that.
Really?
Yes. Anyways, well, yeah, they're playing off the whole China Eddie Guerrero thing there.
Yeah.
So, also, let's move on. Bray Wyatt is back in WWE and seemingly on the SmackDown roster. This week, he returned to the Blue Brand, cutting an in-ring promo, establishing his new character, which his new character is apparently himself? I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. He's apparently just a regular dude with a lantern, joyous to be back in WWE. Now, I don't know what it was, but his voice was either a little shot or he was putting on a voice that entire time, when he was doing the Wyatt stuff.
It was very whiny, yeah.
It was drastically different than his real voice, because I don't think I ever heard him sound like that. I don't think he sounded like himself. I'm not ripping on the guy. I'm just making an observation.
No, this is totally put on. This wasn't what's his name?
Like
Wyndham Rotunda.
Yeah.
That wasn't Wyndham Rotunda. This is
Bray Wyatt.
A meek Bray Wyatt, because he had a little bit of cowardly in him. Maybe even portraying a little bit of the White Rabbit, because we know that the White Rabbit was coming. Maybe this is the White Rabbit character.
Well, it could be. Wyatt's name has been on Twitter for ever since he left WWE, Wyndham 6. And
right.
A lot of people are thinking that the Wyndham 6 are a stable. WWE this week also, one thing I didn't even put in the rundown, WWE this week established or put out the trademark for Uncle Harper.
Right.
And nobody knows what that is. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But so Wyatt said, this is a side of him he's never got to show, a genuine version of himself. Wyatt went on to talk about his past works feeling meaningless and said that meeting fans helped him through dark times. So total babyface promo here coming from Bray Wyatt. But then a video played on the screen featuring someone in a mask, because a lot of people
with that same with that same affect
Yeah.
that he was using, right?
Exactly. And, the video went on to say, "Oh, little one, my little one, come with me. Your life is done. Forget the future. Forget the past. Life is over. Breathe your last. You've got no idea who you're dealing with, do you? Oh, but you will. You will." So, first off, kind of creepy. Secondly,
Yeah.
I don't think that was him in the mask. A lot of people said, "Oh, yeah, that was Bray Wyatt in the mask. He was just on screen." It didn't sound like Bray. And a lot of people were talking
It
about...
could have been pre-recorded. It had the same type of affect. Maybe they're trying to sway us. Yeah.
And it could be some sort of symbiote, some sort of Venom type character, right. A la, I said, like Venom from Marvel. So, Jose, I feel like they're kind of all over the place, though, with this character, yet they're still not completely off the rails with him to get him to get him pushed with the fans to be over, because he's over no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could come out next week in a bunny costume and be like, "Hey, man, I'm here. I'm the White Rabbit. Who wants some candy?"
It still gets huge pop.
And people
Maybe
would
even
pump
more.
for him. They were like, "I want some fucking candy." Like,
He's throwing out white rabbits.
where do you think they're going with this Bray Wyatt character, and maybe the Wyatt Six?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Man, I don't know.
I really feel like he came off like a really meek, really, I almost hurt myself while I was going through it.
It's kind of
like he was on the verge of tears.
It was kind of like Tom Hardy's character in Venom.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Eddie Brock, right?
Yes.
Eddie Brock, just in general. He in the comic books he was a college athlete.
A failed photographer, college athlete. Yeah.
Okay, he was a failed photographer, college athlete, and he was kind of a dick. In the movies, he was played by Topher Grace in the first adaptation.
Ouch.
I'm just saying it was. And then Tom Hardy he briefly came over to the MCU for one after credit scene.
Yeah.
But to me, that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of a tortured soul who is battling these crazy, not mental health issues, but actual demons in their head. He's being taunted by some sort of creature that's following him around. And like I said before, and I was wrong about his theme song. I'll be the first to say that, man. I was wrong about his theme song. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But,
I'm not a fan.
I don't like that new theme song. It's stupid.
I don't like it either. The intro's cool, but then when the song gets going into the first verse, I'm like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Linkin Park wannabe.
Well, the fact that they own the rights to that other one because they found it online.
Use it and remix it, man.
And that's what they did with his second song, which was...
Yes, just do that again.
Anyways, if The Fiend comes back and comes out to that song, if somebody comes out to that song eventually, I'll be fine with him.
Yeah. Okay, well, he wore this mask that film character wore, right? Not to say that somebody can't put it on and be a different character.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Okay, you're right. You're right there.
But it was his mask. He wore that, and then when the character on screen is talking, it's almost like he's talking to the broken child that is Bray Wyatt in the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, little one, my little one, come with me. Your life is done.
Yeah.
Forget the future. Forget the past. Life is over. Everything that you're talking about is done.
Yeah.
Right? He was talking about hurting himself. For life is over. Breathe your last. Let's become a new character.
Yeah. And I think this is all hinting at what was kind of known amongst wrestling fans, is that he was really held back from doing what he wanted to do.
Yeah, because this is some really deep stuff. Like, you see stickers all over the place.
This is deep. It's dark. It's what do they call those? Like, it's not augmented reality, but like, when something's online, but then you can like dial a phone number and then you get some clue, and then you go back online, you type that clue in.
Yeah. It's almost like a follow your own adventure.
Absolutely, and it's fantastic. Like, I do think they're kind of, like I said,
going overboard a little bit.
Not overboard, but they're just like. They need to just tone it down with like the amount of stuff they do, because at first they were doing these videos hinting at a white rabbit. Now there's not really a mention of the white rabbit since what do you call it? Extreme Rules.
Because now the white rabbit is me, hurt in the middle of the ring.
I mean, it could be, or
I love you guys,
or it could be someone else coming soon.
True. Yeah.
Anyways, somebody who's not coming back to WWE Because
pray tell.
as reported by yours truly last week and, well, okay, Figure 4 Wrestling Online, Renee Paquette is all elite. Renee stated this week first off, she came out this week to start AEW Dynamite having an interview and also hosted multiple interviews throughout the night.
She had 2 lines.
Well, she said, "Welcome, everybody. I'm Renee Paquette. I'm all elite. Woo, let's go." But she got able to talk a little bit more on her podcast called The Sessions, formerly known as Oral Sessions. It's a little risque name. Once she became a mom, she was like, I got to tone that down. I'm a mom now.
Yeah, before my daughter starts Googling it.
But she said, obviously, we watch so much wrestling, referring to her and Moxley, so much wrestling in the house. We talk so much wrestling in this house. And it was always an odd, displaced sort of feeling anytime I went to shows with John, because I'm always used to being at the shows, but working and being useful and contributing. Paquette did go on to say, so being there for the duration of John being at AEW and not being able to contribute, just being John's wife, I'm just hanging out. I'll pop through catering and grab a bite. It's just a different feeling going through as a guest, as opposed to now
that's
being...
That's not for you. That's for talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Put that down. As a guest now being on my way to... Oh, cool. I go here now. She's very, very positive, fun. Like, I feel like anybody can talk with her, and it'd be like, all right, I like you. You're positive, but, let's calm it down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
She's super cool too. I don't know. Maybe I just look up to her as a broadcasting person, but
yeah, and she was pretty cool in Divas too. But they didn't really highlight her much.
Paquette, she did say she was grateful for her time in WWE. She said, I just felt like I had done everything there and that I could possibly do. Looking back at my time in WWE, I just would like to reiterate, as well as because I feel it can get very muddy in these conversations. So she just kind of wanted to reiterate that her time in WWE, she holds no grudges, and she was grateful for her time there in the E.
Yeah, well, the wrestling community is they pick sides. They can't just, love everything. They got to be one or the other.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, so she must hate WWE now, and now she's in AEW, and they conjure beef up out of nowhere. I get it, Renee.
Well, although Renee does not plan to do any commentary in the future, the future is looking all elite for Renee Paquette. What do you want to see from Renee in AEW, Jose?
Great question. This is what I want to see. I want to see repackaged events, year-end reviews, top 10 surprises of the year. I want her to do one-off specials. Can we see AEW backstage? I don't think we're going to see that. But I'll be down for, backstage interviews. I don't know if she's down for that, right? She might feel above it.
Well, she's not doing commentary.
Yeah.
And she seems to be part of the team there. So
I don't think she was a big fan of commentary.
I say put her as lead backstage reporter.
Yeah, and special event. I liked her when she ran the pre-shows. Maybe she could do that.
Absolutely. Well, speaking more on AEW... Earlier this week, wrestling and MMA journalist Mr. Ariel Helwani made comments on a recent interview he had with the CEO of AEW, Tony Khan. He said, quote, "It was the most frustrating and, to a degree, not so fun interviews of my career." Have you listened to the interview, Jose?
I have not, but I read some of the transcripts.
Okay, so now... If whoever did listen to the interview, it does start off kind of weird, as Ariel does start off with, "Oh, welcome to the show. I thought you didn't like me." What way is that to start a show? First off,
it's very combative.
In my opinion, it's setting the tone on, like you said, a very combative level.
Yeah.
So Ariel would ask questions regarding MJF's contract, the status of CM Punk and the Elite. And Tony Khan just gave the corporate answer. I can't comment on that right now. Sorry, I can't say anything. And Ariel kind of persisted with, "Oh, why can't you answer that question?"
kayfabe, bro. Kayfabe. Fudge.
It's not even to me. It's not even kayfabe. It's
Well, he can't talk the details about MJF's contract. That has to be some type of breach, right? He can't talk about the status of an investigation going on within CM Punk and the Elite. Come on, man.
Tony Khan did say, and I didn't write the exact quote down, but he did say something along the lines of, well, it would be the same if somebody at Fulham, I wouldn't openly talk about their contract with the public, with them without their, consent. I wouldn't talk about somebody with the Jacksonville Jaguars contract openly without,
Yeah, exactly. Breaking some type of laws. Why don't you ask Ariel? Why don't you ask me about my negotiations at the Cow Palace?
Yeah, exactly. I know all about that. We talked about it last week, didn't we? Or was one of the last? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, Jose. Now, are we going to see more of this like subdued? Because for a long time, Tony Khan was the guy who was like, "Oh, we're going to give fans back," and I've talked about this for weeks. We're going to give fans backstage access. We're going to give them exclusive behind the scenes content that they never had before. But now I feel like we're seeing a more subdued Tony Khan in interviews from ever since, that night after All Out. Kind of a corporate like spokesperson. Do you think we're going to get more of that from Tony Khan, or did Ariel have kind of an agenda with this podcast?
Two things could be true at the same time. Number one, yes, he did have an agenda. How do we, the way it all started is just, combative. It was challenging to Tony Khan. But at the same time, I think what you're seeing from Tony Khan right now is backlash from all the mark accusations that he's the super mark. Tony Khan's the ultimate mark. He's this, he's that. You poke the bear, eventually it's going to fight back. And what we're getting now is Tony Khan the character.
Well, it's not even
the legit Tony Khan.
We're not getting Tony Khan the fan anymore. And that's straight up. That above all else, that is what we're getting. Tony Khan is, I think, and I'm going with my emotions here, but I really think he's going to step into this role of leader and not fanboy anymore. I think he's going to put his foot down and say, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm sorry. If you want to talk more about it, you can contact my PR people, hey, maybe they'll have to find their other source, but Tony Khan is not going to be their source anymore to get dirt on the inside AEW.
Yeah, you had it good while you had a chance, but no, you had to ruin a good thing. So now you're going to get Mr. Tony McCon.
And hey, Ariel doesn't stand a chance in hell.
No chance.
But it also was weird when Ariel was talking about the interview with Tony Khan, and he's like, "I'm going to get in trouble here. But, all the AEW freakazoids are going to come out of the woodwork, and they're all going to attack me for this, but I'm going to say it." And that, to me, also, it signified in my head, okay, you got something against the AEW
this guy has an agenda.
And,
he hasn't.
Yeah, either way, I mean, I don't see, like I said, I love WWE right now, and I think AEW is great as well. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think both companies are doing fantastic things right now.
They make each other better. We're the winners here. When they fight more, we win.
Because to sit here and fight over, my show's better. It's literally
they're filled with WWE guys.
It's the exact same thing though. It'll happen day in and day out. Star Wars, Star Trek.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Marvel, DC, Coke, Pepsi.
You can enjoy it all, people.
Mine's better than yours. Mine's better than yours. And the more content out there, the more, like you said, the more we can enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of more content, this weekend...
I've been waiting for this.
This weekend, Triple Mania happened, and, we didn't really watch the show. But we got some highlights from the show. One highlight in particular, Triple Mania happened this weekend. A video package played promoting a new show on Disney+. I'm going to try this. Origen de la Máscara.
Origen. So just think origin,
yeah,
but soft G. Origen.
Okay. Well, I tried. De la Máscara, which is the origin of the mask. Will feature origin stories of the AAA Marvel-themed luchadors and is set to premiere December 21st, 2022. Now, on the downside of this, because I was super juiced when I heard about this because I love Marvel and I love wrestling. So fuck, it sounds cool. And for a while, this like Marvel like AAA partnership, it has kind of been lackluster to me ever since they announced it.
Well, I remember we saw that one match last year.
Yeah, in Triple Mania, right?
Yeah.
Or was that before the pandemic?
No, it was during pandemic.
Okay.
It was it was last year. I think it was just last year.
Okay. So on the downside of this, AAA nor Disney released the trailer online. The only videos that are found of this are fan footage taken from the show in the crowd.
Yeah, I'll wait.
That being said, many are speculating that this could be a regional only release rather than an international release. Jose, like I said, the MAAU has been on the decline since the start. Does this show even stand a chance? Because I would like to give it a chance, but AAA and Marvel both don't seem to like want to push this show at all, or anything Marvel Luchador.
Yeah, in the United States, me personally, I would love to see this, and I would love to get the comedy out of this because it's just gonna be nothing but funny. Spider-Man got bitten by a radioactive luchador.
Yeah. Well, they would have to get some sort of bonesaw like character in there,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's the Macho Man.
And everybody's in masks, so you could just overdub it really easy, hence, or a la
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, yeah. I don't see this working in the American market. I only see it. If I was in Mexico, it'd be plastered all over the place, and I would definitely watch it. But this is not going to work here. Well, not in a million years.
It seems to me, AAA does have a lot of issues with broadcasting their shows in America. I wonder if their contract with Marvel, what it entails. What does it say? Can they promote? Can they even show this stuff in other countries?
Yeah,
because Marvel is.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was saying Marvel is very, like, it's the contract to use their stuff is very weird because as you know they are owned by Disney and they have, if you go to Disneyland, there's Marvel rides, right? But if you go to some other parks in America, they can also have Marvel, but these parks aren't Disney and these aren't Marvel Cinematic Universe characters. They're based off of the comic books.
Yeah, right.
So
Universal. Yeah.
I just wonder what kind of contract AAA has with Marvel. So.
Yeah, no, good question because as we know, and I don't want to put any shade on my own people, but we are some bootleggers. Go to the San Jose flea market and see how many Araña boys you see.
That's all right, dude.
Senor America, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some bootleg shit out there. My son recently we went to Mexico and he got a Hulk, but it has like a radioactive light in the middle.
You might want to get that tested for actual radioactivity.
Lead paint on it, yeah. And he has an infinity gauntlet that you could take off or put on with a regular hand.
Yeah.
And it's the ugliest looking figure on earth. And it came without a wrapper.
Have you ever seen like those? I saw one at a flea market recently. It was the Oakland Flea Market, the Laney College, and it was one of those like wrestling bundle pack, and it had like all these wrestlers that were like based off. It was like this is Stung, this is
King Mysterious,
Flex Booger, yeah, King Mysterious, it's funny, but this it's weird. This AAA Marvel stuff, it really to me. I don't know if Marvel even likes it.
No, I don't.
I think they might have they signed up for something and they were like, "What the fuck did we sign up for, dude?"
Yeah, they saw Triple Mania last year and they're like, "Whoa,
what is this, guys? Can we do something with WWE? No, we have to. Okay, well, fuck. Yeah, we need Kevin Feige. We need the Kevin. We need Kevin involved. If you haven't watched the season finale of She-Hulk, go watch it. We need Kevin involved to write this story. Maybe we need She-Hulk in this, up in this bitch.
Yes.
Some what's her last? Jennifer
Walters.
Jennifer Walters. Yeah, I love that She-Hulk, man. She's great. And,
me too. It's a great
if
show.
you don't love She-Hulk, then that sucks for
we
you.
got 2 words for you for the 25th anniversary.
I wasn't even doing the DX song, but you know what's funny about that too? On the 25 years of DX, the fact that Billy Gunn wasn't there. Yeah, they came out. Everyone's That's all they
Don't say
did.
dick. You can't say cock. You can't say blow.
Yeah. And they're all just like, hey, what's up? Oh, God, we're so old. If we're here at 50 years, you'd shoot us in the head.
Buddy, you'll be dead and gone right then.
Where is Billy Gunn that week? You know what I mean? He's having a match with Swerve Scott at AEW. You know, he's actually still competing. And that's
putting over talent.
He's putting over talent, absolutely. So I think that's great on Billy Gunn.
And in great shape, by the way.
That boy is tanner than a tomato. Which tomatoes aren't tan, but he's redder than a tomato. That's probably a better way to put it.
I gotcha.
All right, so let's take a little preview of what we got going on this week for wrestling. You know, because there's a couple big shows I want to talk about. Now, first off, I do believe is AEW Dynamite the same? Is it on a Tuesday this week? I believe it is.
I think they called it Tuesday Dynamite.
Yeah,
Major League Baseball playoffs.
So AEW Dynamite will be going head to head with NXT. A lot of
and
they're
TBS
stacking up the
is
shows.
TBS is the home of the Braves. Home of the Braves, get it? Home of the Braves.
Yeah,
home of the Atlanta Braves.
Well, yeah, no, I mean they are. That's the one thing I know about TBS is like from my childhood was Mama's Family and the Braves.
Mama's Family.
You know, because
that screams TBS to me, yeah.
So but before anything else, AEW Dynamite, like I said, it's Tuesday night. We got Jon Moxley set to defend his AEW title against Hangman Page in his hometown, Cincinnati. Why am I blanking on the state? Cincinnati, is it Ohio? Hey, that's where Toy-Hio is. I want to go to that one day.
Okay.
It's a toy convention. Go check it out.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Chris Jericho is set to defend his Ring of Dishonor championship against Dalton Castle. Hikaru Shida versus Tony Storm for the AEW Women's title. And Renee sits down with both Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta, which to me, that seems a little strange. I wonder if we're going to get some sort of Combat Club altercation there.
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
And Death Triangle versus Best Friends. And MJF talks. So, wow, he talks, yeah.
I mean, it looks like a cool episode of Dynamite. I'm in there for Hangman Page. You know what? Probably not though. Now that Renee's part of the crew, I was thinking that Jon Moxley was going to go on vacation, but now since she's on the roster, it looks like
he said, "Hey, babe, like, you know how we're supposed to go on vacation? You want to do the exact opposite, and you just get a job with my company, so we don't ever have to vacation? Okay, thanks." So no, it does, you know, like you said, Jon Moxley was scheduled to take 6 to 8 weeks off. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's time to put the title back on Hangman because that's the way AEW does it. They get you invested, and that last week's promo by Hangman got me pretty fucking invested in the Hangman. I love the Hangman. I love everything about him, from his pink shirt to his tasseled jeans, you know?
Oh, I don't like the pants.
Oh, I love the tasseled jeans. A real man wears tassels on his jeans.
They bother me so much.
And next Saturday, or was it Saturday? God, I'm not getting the exact. I need to pull this up because NXT Halloween Havoc is next weekend. Did you know that, Jose?
I did know that.
Yeah,
yes.
It's October 22nd as of that. But we're going to look at the whole card because there's a bunch of matches happening, and it's the first, it's not the first Halloween Havoc, but it's back under the Triple H regime. So Mandy Rose is set to take on Alba Fire in a singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller in a spin the wheel, make the deal match.
Old school WCW. Let's go.
We don't know what it is yet. Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp in an ambulance match. If Julius loses, his brother Brutus Creed will have to leave NXT. Roxanne Perez versus Cora Jade in a spin the wheel, make the deal. Although the wheel was already spun and the deal was already made, it's a Weapons Wild match.
What does that even mean? Weapons out four corners?
No, it's a Weapons Wild match. The weapons are wild.
Oh, sorry.
I have no idea what it fucking means, dude. I think it's just another way to call it no DQ.
Yeah.
So, Carmelo Hayes versus Oro Mensah versus Wesley versus Von Wagner versus Nathan Frazier for the vacant NXT North American Championship match. I don't see any reason not to put it back on Carmelo Hayes, but hey, we'll see what happens. And the main event for the evening is a triple threat match. Braun Breaker defending his NXT championship against Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough. So we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, Braun will retain. You know what they're doing here? That they're opening the floodgates for more fans. They're becoming a little bit more fan friendly. They're leaving jumping points.
Yeah.
So this is a great. If you haven't watched NXT in a long time, this is the time to jump in and get hooked once again.
And one thing that I feel like they need to do, like they absolutely have to do, they need Rick Steiner back for a backstage segment. You know why? You got to get Chucky back there. It's Halloween Havoc, dude. We got to get Chucky and Rick to get some sort of just like, oh, here you are, Rick. What are you doing here? Something like that. Not like a fucking match, of course not. But
put some comedy in there. We got too much serious stuff going on here.
Some backstage, have him. Hey, son, you do great this match tonight, okay? And he's like, thanks, Dad. I get what you're saying. Thank you. And then he walks away, and then Chucky's just like, oh, Ricky, what you doing? Especially with the new season of Chucky playing on USA Network right now.
Oh, the cross promotion.
Have you watched that show?
I did. I haven't, but my niece has told me a lot about it.
I heard it's good.
Yeah, I hear that too.
I like
but
that.
I hear that if you're anti-woke, if that's a thing, it's not for you.
Oh,
because all you're going to do is complain about everything.
Oh, is it some sort of like, oh, I'm going to be PC killer now, which is fine, whatever. I'm cool with it. I don't care.
I'm cool with PC killer.
Yeah, be the guy who kills with equity,
Yeah, I already killed my 3 white folk for the week. I hit my quota.
Fucking serial killer. Anyways.
Oh, sheesh. Yeah, let's not go
off the streets. Anyways, let's get out of here for the night. Let's call it. Let's wrap it up. Let's get ready for next week's Halloween Havoc show. We'll be here next week talking all about Halloween Havoc. But until then, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and buy a shirt because we got a merch store. Check it out. It's down below. The link.
Or a coffee mug.
Buy it. There's a sweatshirt too. It's getting cold outside. If you want to eat, and I think it's a perfect, just like chill, like watch wrestling kind of hoodie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just like the perfect hangout hoodie. Like hang out at home. Yeah. You just put it on. You just drink coffee out of your City Wrestling Radio mug, and then
there you go.
Put on a SmackDown from the night before on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, and then in 5 years, your girlfriend could steal it and take it for her own.
Yeah,
that was a bit from Saturday Night Live.
And it will, but then she could be like, I have a retro City Wrestling Radio hoodie.
Yes.
And then they'll give it to their kids, and then they'll be like, oh my god, that's a retro one. It's worth a lot of money. She's old now, so it's worth a lot of money, kids.
Smoking those cigarettes
through the neck hole.
Oh no! Don't say
like that. Debbie. Remember Debbie?
God.
Do you remember Debbie,
yes.
the neck hole lady? I smoked cigarettes for years.
Oh boy!
The smoke came out of the hole.
Yeah, if there was any commercial to deter you, that was the one.
I was like, yeah, I'm good off these cigarettes, thanks.
I'll stick with these stale bubblegum ones.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's wrap it up. Till next week, I'm Korey Smith.
I'm Jose Ocegueda.
And we will see you next week. Take care and have a great week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.